Well, thank you very much for that welcome, and I'm very grateful to be here today and to participate in this great ceremony and very distinguished body of students and faculty assembled here today. I want to congratulate you all on the honor of graduating from a first-rate university that's been built in a very rapid period of time, a first-rate faculty and a student body. And it's kind of a miracle, but it's a miracle that has been realized. Its growth and its excellence is a case of one of many aspects of China that I really admire. China rewards merit and achievement, and I commend you for advancing that goal. Your emphasis on merit and excellence is, to me and to many Americans, a welcome contrast to various attacks that have appeared around the world against merit and meritocracy. And I think increasingly there has been a sense in which achieving excellence and striving for the best has not been receiving the attention that it adequately deserves. And I think I'm very happy to be here in a country and in a university where merit is encouraged. And young scholars are encouraged to do their best, and young graduates go forward and do work that is encouraging them to work at the highest level and for the highest good. As you're leaving CHUK Shenzhen, I'm coming here myself, actually, in order to work with your first-rate group of scholars in AI, machine learning, pattern recognition, and in economics. Together, we will create a body of research that will aid China in facing its challenges in the coming years. And today, I want to discuss some of that work in a sense that giving you more or less a mission to go forward and think about what problems you can address as you leave this university. One thing we know for sure, there's been a lot of discussion about AI, machine learning, and technology. A lot has recently been written by people like Stephen Hawking, Elon Musk, Roger Penrose, and many others, saying that we should fear these advances. This dystopian view of machines is that machines will outsmart us and eventually control us, I think is not well-founded. I think that we have much promise here, and the AI holds many promise that any peril that it might pose can be countered unless we blindly abdicate our responsibility and leave all of our thinking and management to machines. But let me tell you why I come here. It's not to praise AI, although you have a distinguished AI group and other groups as well. Why I come here is that I hope to learn from you, and many others plan to learn from you as well, and benefit from your knowledge. And there's a larger problem that you're going to face as you leave this university and go out into the world. You're going to see this in the businesses and the universities and the challenges that face China and the world going forward. One of the most substantial problems in the world is the aging of populations. Many people here in China will blame the one-child policy. But a lot of research has shown that the one-child policy, while it played a role, it far was from the major role. Declining fertility and the onset of family life is a matter of growth of a modern economy. It's a consequence of the revolution that gave equal status to women, the fact that education was so actively encouraged that both men and women became educated and created a new pattern to family life. It makes childbearing more expensive and creates something that economists call opportunity costs of time, as well as things like the cost of housing. As wealthy people gain wealth, they go into the world. So we know that China will need to replace bodies with brains, and that going forward, as China supports itself, and you're part of those brains going forward to that world. And so what's happening now, and you represent that gap, that there are efforts to do so, to raise the skill level and to advance the level of technology to the highest levels. We also know that China is facing and is starting to eliminate rural-urban gaps in educational opportunities. There's more opportunity, and more people around all of China are receiving the access to the support of modern education and modern state. But I think one thing I want to share with you, and why I'm actually here, and what's exciting as a research and policy opportunity, is that China is exploring a new way to close the traditional rural-urban gap. And that's actually why I'm here. Even though it sounds like I'm talking about AI and other things, but I'm really talking about this. We know, and it's much discussed about the children who are left behind when parents migrate east. And we know that children who are away from their parents frequently will suffer developmental problems. And there's a lot of research that shows that to be true. But the research in child development shows, in fact, those early years when parents are away are sometimes the most important in the lives of children. And programs based on this knowledge are beginning to be implemented on a wide scale in China. It's very important, though, as we leave an educational institution with the bricks and the mortar, that we understand that those kinds of education is only part of a lecture, only part of bricks and mortar and books and textbooks and lectures in the normal sense. These programs that are being implemented, these policies that are being implemented around the country, but especially in the rural areas, are based not on schools in the conventional way, but in teaching, not lecturing or teaching, but engaging young children and in scaffolding. Research over the past 50 years has shown the importance of scaffolding, understanding where a child is, where a student is, and taking him or her to the next stage, but in gentle steps. This knowledge is based on a new foundation of science, based on psychology, economics, neuroscience, on the understanding of how human beings develop. In China, a very innovative program has been adapted called China Reach. It comes from the China Development Research Foundation. And China Reach shows the value of application of adaptive reinforcement learning method to disadvantaged populations. And so what's being developed here and what's being developed in these programs is algorithms in child development to teach a version of what's like personalized medicine, but it's personalized education. And a large body of work shows that this kind of personalized approach is extraordinarily effective. Now, there's a temptation that every country and every policymaker has, and that's being resisted here in China, and I really commend it. And that is to say, okay, we know there's a problem. We might want to worry about the early years of children, but we might want to take an existing program off the shelf. But if we do that and apply it to China, and especially to rural China, what we're doing is finding it's very costly and maybe very inefficient, require an infrastructure that's not there. But what we can do and what we understand is that we can adapt the essential ingredients of these programs that are successful. And we can use low-cost methods. We strip away a lot of the elaborate discussion to see what is the essential feature about learning and education, whether it's in schools, whether it's in the workplace, whether it's for little children. Namely, it's the engagement of the teacher, or the caregiver, or the parent in the lives of children. And fostering those child-parent interactions plays a huge role in a way that we're just beginning to understand. And it's possible to implement those programs at about 5% of the cost of the established programs that many people want to take off the shelf. So our understanding of which aspects of these interactions are most successful is just beginning to be formulated. It sounds like this is something we should all know. And I know that many people like to think, well, you're finished your degree and you should be warned that there is a rule that frequently many of you will not learn anything after you graduate here. The view is whatever you learned in college is what you stay or the rest of your life. But I would say that's a bad policy. And I think what you want to do is stay tuned for this work. So why I'm here is trying to understand how we can improve this process using technology, using new measurement algorithms, and using what sometimes engineers would call adaptive control to essentially, even though it looks this is not a machine, it's in a human interaction setting. And understanding those interactions is really essential to providing understanding of how to foster children and even trainees in the workplace. So the goal is here, and you will participate in this in various ways, to build the skills in children and parenting skills before they enter school. And what we're going to understand here is really understanding a fundamental part, which is ancient, Parents and family life are enshrined in virtually every major religion. But what we've really come to understand is there are better and worse ways. There are signals that we can send and not. So I welcome all of you to participate in this exciting research and to follow the research as it unfolds here at the Chinese University of Hong Kong in Shenzhen. But even if you don't directly participate, I think you should be proud that your alma mater is doing basic research and that you can be proud that what it's doing will have substantial benefit to the Chinese nation and will, in addition to having strong policy components, create new world knowledge. This university and work in this area of understanding how children and parents and caregivers and children interact, it will be in the forefront of social policy and a pioneer in the science of human development. So I wish you all good work and good luck as you go forward, but I ask you all to pay close attention to what's going on and ask what way you might want to participate in this kind of agenda. So thank you very much for your attention and good luck going forward.